for another Top Table Talk, and we've got a new arrival just on the button. He's made it. Welcome in, Rich, and we're back for another Top Table Talk, and it keeps getting more and more interesting every single week. The race for Europe is hotting up every single day, and we've got a panel here ready to discuss it all. So, boys, how are we this evening? Daz, Chris, Rich, Sava making his debut on Loaded Mag NUFC, and of course, Wolfie is in the house. And before we start, they're back, boys.
Yeah.
They are back.
Where's
in the air.
Yeah.
W's in the air. We are back.
Wait. We had an agreement, 4 p.m. Alliance, swords get sheathed and all this stuff. Last time I checked, it's not Sunday and it's gone past 4 p.m.
The sun is out, Wolfie.
Boys, how old?
Wait. Do I need some shades then because I'm the highest panel member?
He's clutching.
We knew he was going to be.
Touch it. Would you rather be third or one in the game?
It's about the journey that they're on, Wolfie, and the journey that you're on, mate.
Rich coming now with chest because he won. Give him a high.
Wolfie,
Rich, look at that smile.
Rich is part of the alliance, you know. He's part of this alliance.
I would have had the sunglasses on, but we've got a game tonight that I'm worried about. So,
who you got tonight?
Crystal Palace.
Oh, at Selhurst.
Yeah,
tough game.
Yeah,
I'm just appreciative that I've been invited onto a show that's called Top Table Talk. And I feel like it's a real slap in the face of an invite to what used to be a decent football team in North London. But thanks for having me on. And
you're welcome.
You're creeping back towards it, Summer.
Yeah. We went from 12 to 12 at the weekend. We were heading in the right direction, mate.
Yeah, we're nearly back to Anjin. Yeah, another 3 dubs, maybe.
No, I'm sure we'll get into it. I'm not Anjin in any way, shape, or form. I don't like the bloke. I don't want him at all. No.
Interesting.
Hello.
Straight off the bat, I like it. I like it a lot. But boys,
you know me, Pete. You know me, Pete. You know if anyone invites me on a show, you know what you're getting. There's no timid. Not timid.
Of course.
I heard you refer to yourself as the Spurs League gunner the other day, mate.
No. What you saw was Lee come onto my show. So I titled the thumbnail. It said, Sava's just a fake Lee gunner. And then Lee came onto my stream and said, what did Lee? Lee said he's the market leader in negativity.
I'm surprised you didn't say you make him look positive.
Definitely. Boys, we have to start at St. James's Park. It was
what do you think I'm stalling the conversation?
I know. This is why I've had to break conversation because I know
this is what he did yesterday on 12th Man because I watched it. He filled it till 5 to 8 and he was like, oh boy, Pete, sorry, I've got to go.
God is your witness. You knew beforehand that I had Frank Clark on, did you not?
I did know that, but every time the conversation about Arsenal just started to come to an end, you just ended up asking a new question. Just to
no one get one in intros of Errol on, man. What are you talking about? When Errol's on the stream, we all have to shut up, man. What are you saying?
That's true. That's true. He had a lot to say. But
by the way, can I say shout out to? I saw a few of your lot in the Frank Clark one we did last night, and obviously he's connected to you boys. I don't know how strong that link is or whatever, but yeah, if you guys want him on, just let me know. What a bloke he is, man. Seriously, proper manager.
Love it. Everyone in the chat, if you haven't watched that yet, go back on Forest Fan TV and give that a watch. Definitely some big connections with Newcastle United. Andy Ford's put in the chat, Frank Clark, Toon legend, which tells you everything you need to know. Go watch that back. That is for sure. But Wolfie, you've stalled again by talking about Frank Clark. Let's get into this game. Let's talk about it. There's a reason why
you're telling me about some Newcastle old school players, right?
No, there's a reason why
he's the subject. Let's rip the plaster off. Would you want me to say that we haven't already talked about? You know, I mean, Pete was calling me every 5 minutes. Pete, called me at half time, you know, already with his table updated and what have you. And then it got pretty hairy in that second half. But I'm still annoyed at the game. I'm not annoyed at the fact that we lost. You can take a loss. It's the way we lost. You schooled us in that first half. Could have been more than 4. Shambolic defending. First time I've ever seen a keeper end up in the net with the ball on a penalty, which was comical in itself. And I think, and I still stand to this, and there's a lot of Forest fans that disagree with me, you took your foot off the pedal in the second half. And there's a lot of happy clappers trying to tell me that, oh, that showed fight and passion and all this from front. No. You just sat back and let us have the ball, as any team who are 4-1 up would do, as a team who have a final to have half an eye on would do as well. And I'm not having that. That's 3 away defeats in a row. Our home form is still solid. But yeah, I just Claire says, surprised Wolfie had any followers left and shut up about the second half. Claire, it was infuriating. It was infuriating. I know Pete's thoughts on it. I'm sure we'll get the boys' thoughts on it, but I'm not buying it. I'm not buying this second half Herculean performance from Forest. I didn't see it. But yeah, again, Forest took the lead from a mistake from your end. I thought Callum Hudson-Odoi did brilliant. What the hell was going on with that throw-in and Murphy and what have you? But usually when Forest take the lead, you see that compactness, that you know, defensive block in place disappeared. All we did was try and kick the ball from Sells or Murillo up to Chris Wood. Dan Burn would header it back. You guys would then cause another attack. And I was saying, even at 1-0 up, it's a matter of if not when you were going to score, because it felt like Cooper ball. And me saying that's probably going to piss off all the ones that still are Cooperites, but I don't really care. That's what it felt like for that kind of 15-minute crazy period. And add on top of that, it reminded me a lot of what happened at the City Ground. We went 1-0 up, and then you had that period, more so Joe Linton in that game, where you were just clicking some passes through and together, and you know, suddenly it was 3-1 to Newcastle at the City Ground. So I'm not happy with what I saw. I expect and demand a reaction to, what are we, Tuesday today? I've done so many streams, boys. Is today Tuesday or Wednesday?
Today is Tuesday.
Thank God, man. I suddenly panicked and thought, am I going live for a fucking another Forest match tonight? No, it's tomorrow. I expect a reaction tomorrow against Arsenal. I think Arsenal are there for the taking.
Where is it?
At Forest. I think, you know, Arteta looks a broken man in his interview today. And at the same time, you winning could end up being semi-meaningless if we go and beat Arsenal and you lose to Liverpool tomorrow night, because we're back to status quo. So hopefully Forest can win and Newcastle can win, pushes us up clear in that top 4 race, top 5 race. God knows what the kids are doing there. But yeah, I'm not happy with yesterday's performance, but I think you schooled us in that first half. Schooled us.
Dad, Chris, I'll come to you on the next part, obviously, because from a Newcastle perspective, we're delighted to get the win. We said right from the beginning on the preview with Wolfie earlier on in the week that it was a case of we must win. And that's what the time.
And what did I predict, Pete? Let's not forget now.
You did predict a defeat.
Thank you.
Boys, how are we feeling after that game? Because there's been a lot of mixed emotions from Newcastle United fans after that win. We won the game, but the manner in which we won the game has been a question mark for a lot. But Daz, Chris, how are you feeling now? And you know, are you still buzzing as we were to eventually get that win on Sunday?
Yeah, I think the negativity is bullshit, really, because like if you said before the game we're going to win the game 4-3, you would have snapped your hand off for that. But okay, we went behind early, we came back and had that 11-man blitz and got those 4 goals, and then we, as Wolfie has alluded to, we took our foot off the pedal. I think we were probably focused on the Liverpool game tomorrow night then, and we were in the end, though, we were lucky that it was only 3 minutes extra time. And I think we said it in our reaction show as well. Something for Wolfie as well when he comes back. But let's go to you, Chris, and your opinion of the game. Oh, he's back. Hang on. Just in case we've forgotten about that.
Miley takes a touch, then hits it. Yes! Lewis Miley, first Premier League start of the season. And a huge goal from the 18-year-old to get Newcastle on level terms. Ball into the penalty area. Lewis Hall square. The keeper's beaten. Murphy there! Jacob Murphy with the touch. Newcastle United from a goal down. Lead 2-1. Jacob Murphy gets the congratulations. Here comes Isak. It's in. Oh, it's in just. Oh, how lucky is he? Well, it's not convincing. But it's into the back of the net. To Isak in the area. Isak is there! This is ridiculous. 4 first half goals.
Good to see Newcastle's manager Jason Tyndall looking so happy with the goals there.
Front and center. I've got to say, Wolfie, like I know Chris is going to come in next month. Matt Sells. I knew there was a reason why we sold him, man. Jesus Christ. He had a horror show. You're on mute.
Oh, I prefer.
He only has stinkers against you. I don't know why. Man. It's like, oh, back up my old stomping ground and what have you. He didn't play well. I gotta say, some of your goals were lucky. They were. Those deflections were really kind. But yeah, I still think you would have won it even if you hadn't scored those goals. So there's a few saying, oh, but Forest created more chances, could have been a draw and what have you. We didn't take our chances. End of. Which has not been like us this season. But yeah, it's just something about Newcastle, man. We've only beaten you once in the last 6 or something.
Chris, that's a good form against Forest.
Yeah, it's any team that wears black and white just struggle with, man. You Fulham. But Spurs are black and blue, white and blue, aren't they? So we're good against that.
Chris, what are your thoughts on the game? Still, like, he's still buzzing now. Do you agree with Daz? Is that Daz said that it's bullshit with regards to the negativity? Obviously, it was a little bit nervy towards the end. I think we all admit that. But are you just a case of you're just happy we got the 3 points?
Yeah, do you know what? You look back on the game, don't you? And the most important thing was the results. I think we all said that before the game kicked off, that, the most important thing was that we took the 3 points, and that's exactly what we did. The second half wasn't pleasant to watch. It was disappointing from our perspective. I think we could have and should have done better. Whether that's us taking the foot off the pedal, whether that's Forest coming into it, I'm not sure. It's probably a combination of the lot of it, really, because Forest were poor in that first half. I think Wolfie's spot on when he says that. I think we looked very, very good, but I think Forest helped us look very, very good as well. And then obviously when Forest came into it second half, I don't think Forest were outstanding second half. I just think we were incredibly poor second half. But that probably evened it out a little bit. That's not me taking anything away from Forest, by the way, but
Take it away, man. I don't want it.
I don't think Forest were all that good second half, but we were atrocious. But obviously it leveled the game out a little bit, and then it made for a nervy last 5 or 6 minutes or whatever it was when it went 4-3. But yeah, the ultimate thing was that we got the 3 points, and that was the main thing. Yes, the second half was worrying, but we're in 2, 3, 4, 5 months when we look back, the only thing we'll remember is the fact that we beat Forest 4-3, and that's how it is. And hopefully we can make sure that we try and put in a 90-minute performance against Liverpool tomorrow at Anfield rather than just 45 minutes.
I think, Chris, your worry should be whether or not, I don't really care who thinks Newcastle were crap in the second half or Forest were good. You're taking that momentum, if you like, or anti-momentum into this Liverpool game. That would be the worrying thing from a Newcastle perspective, because you were really poor in that second half. And this is obviously the dress rehearsal for the final as well. So you want to go out and put a show and show you can compete with them. So I would be a bit worried about your chances tomorrow. You're not expected to win, so maybe that takes some of the pressure off. But I just think taking that second half performance, it's almost like Eddie needs to tell them, like, okay, that didn't happen. That second half didn't happen. We need to do what we did in the first half. And don't you dare do that again in the second half. but it will be in the fans' minds at the very least.
Yeah, and not too long ago we had the City game, didn't we? Which was absolutely atrocious. So these performances, they're not uncommon this season, and that's the worrying thing. I'm funnily enough, Wolfie, I think we will turn up tomorrow, and I think we will give Liverpool a decent game. What the outcome will be, I don't know, and most people would say that Liverpool will win, and I'm not disagreeing with that. I'll be honest, I'm probably more worried about the following game, which is, I believe, West Ham away. That's the concern for me. I mean, I obviously I want us to get something tomorrow. I think we're more than capable of getting something tomorrow, but I don't go into this game thinking, oh, we need the 3 points and we've got to get the 3 points, because in my heart of hearts, I think it's going to be an uphill battle. Not saying we can't, but I'm more worried about the games that follow. And I'm also more worried about the performance itself, because if we get beat 2-1 tomorrow, but we play absolutely fantastic, no problem with that. But if we get turned over 3-4, 5-0 and we look absolutely atrocious, that's where I get more worried.
Wolfie, can I just get in with a question? Because I wouldn't hear from the chat, and it's could be a relation of yours, Chris. It comes from Alfie Hall, coming over from Sava's channel, and he's subbed as well. Nice one, Alfie. Thanks for joining us. But he says, yeah, Newcastle is his favorite team. But his main question is, Wolfie, do you think Forest are still in the title race?
Willie.
I think we prefer that one, don't we?
Really?
I refer you to Arteta's press conference for your answer. I don't think we'll win the title. I don't think there's a race anymore. It's done as far as I'm concerned, unless they do in Newcastle. But you know, who knows? Who knows? If Liverpool blow this, it would be worse than what you did against Man U.
You know the problem with it, Wolfie? The problem with it as well, and people forget this, the problem I've got with that is, are Liverpool capable of dropping points between now and the end of the season? Absolutely. But the issue is, the likes of Arsenal, if we're talking about Arsenal in this conversation, are Arsenal capable of not just winning the other games, but also winning the games where Liverpool drop points? Can I see Arsenal going 9-10 on a 9-10 winning streak? No.
Well, Chris, let me ask you this. I think this is an interesting question that I've asked a few Arsenal fans. If Arsenal were level on points right now with Liverpool, with the squads as they are with their injuries, do you think Arsenal could win the title?
No.
Exactly.
That's the problem, isn't it? And they've got their points to make up. No, that's a good point, mate. It's a good point. Yeah.
Boys, I want to get your opinions, Rich, Sava, on this situation. We can ask you outright in this. On the back of the question to Wolfie, two things really. Do you think Forest, in your opinions, are in the title race? Do you think they need to be worried now? A few defeats now in recent weeks. Are they kind of itching for that top 4 space? There's a few people out there that think that Forest might not even make the top 5 after that defeat on Sunday. What are your thoughts on that? But equally, what are your thoughts on Newcastle United potentially getting that 5th spot in the Champions League? Sav, we'll come to you first.
I've said all year Forest aren't in the title race. I've never wavered from that. They've never been close enough to it for it to be called a title race. Wolfie and I disagree massively on what a title race is. I don't think they've ever been in it. I don't think they're good enough to win it. Their manager's not good enough to win it. Their squad isn't good enough to win it. And it's the same reason why, look, Pete, over the last few years, I've been going on whether it be the Big Six, Football Terrace, whatever, and I've been getting hammered by Arsenal fans for saying Arsenal aren't winning league titles. And they're going, oh, you're just biased, just Spurs. And I'm like, well, you don't have the know-how. You know, it's all well and good being there or thereabouts at this stage of the season, but do you have a manager and a group of players that know how to get over the line? I don't think football fans ever take that into consideration. And this is why City have done it so much in the last 8 years, is that their players are winners. They know. They've all right, this season we know they've gone 1 year too many for a lot of these older players, but they know how to get over the line. Forest are nowhere near it. I've said I don't think Forest will. I think Forest are going to fall away. I think they're going to drop off a cliff. I've said that all season. I'm sticking with it. I'm starting to see too many big defeats for them now. You know, 5 against Bournemouth, 4 against Newcastle. I think it's happening. The collapse is happening, Wolfie. Watch this space. But
I've been waiting months for it, man.
Well, I mean, it's happening. You're like 17 points off the top. So it's slowly but surely happening. What I think about Newcastle getting top 5. Yeah, listen, I shamelessly, I'll plug. I did what I thought was a wonderful video on Eddie Howe yesterday, Pete, which a lot of Newcastle fans have been watching and commenting.
Go check it out.
Yeah, go check it out. I'll put my link in. Look, on a serious note, I think I said the other day on a channel, and I think a lot of people took it the wrong way. I think this is the worst Premier League season I've ever seen. I just think no one can seem to put a run together. Quality just does not seem to be there. And at the moment, you've got how many teams that could finish anywhere between 2nd and 10th? You know, it's just maybe not 2nd, but if you look at Forest on 47, down to Brighton, Fulham in 10th on 39, anyone could get this Champions League spot. And I just feel like it's a bit weak, the league, if I'm honest. I think Liverpool are winning. There's been no title race all season. I don't think there's been any contenders. I don't think any of the teams are that great. I don't even think Liverpool are that great. I really don't think they're that great, but they are the best of what I think is a really mediocre Premier League. But hey, I'm just a little Spurs fan in the bottom half of the table, so take what I say with a pinch of salt.
Can you look at that the other way around? Can you say
that all the teams are stronger?
No. More teams are competitive with each other.
But you could do, you absolutely could do. But as I said, I think you might have been on the panel when I said this, Wolfie, the other day. I just look at the caliber of footballers and the caliber of defending and the caliber of goal scorers, the caliber of creative players, the caliber of people's crossing. And I think it's the worst I've ever seen it in Premier League football. No one can defend. How many teams are conceding 4s and 5s and 6s and 7s? This never, you used to have maybe 1 or 2 teams in a relegation battle that used to do that. Now we get slapped up by 4 goals. You're getting slapped up by 5 goals. This team are getting slapped up by 4 or 5. This team, that team. Man City are getting slapped. It just feels like no one can really defend. And it just feels that the standard of attacking just feels, it's all very systematic now, isn't it? It's all very, you must be a square peg in a square hole and you must not break away from that system or that formation. I think it's weak. And the last thing I'll say is I think what that means is I think it's wide open. You look at Villa, you look at Chelsea, you look at Newcastle, you look at Forest, you look at Bournemouth. They're all thereabouts with a chance of getting Champions League football, and which is great for them. But I just think the Premier League is the weakest I've ever seen it. It's just sorry, Wolfie. Just
that's an interesting
point.
Why
sorry me, man? You're attacking the whole Premier League, not Forest.
I know, but I feel like as a Forest fan, you're having your good year for the first time in 54 seasons or something. I feel like it's really important for you to be acknowledged. So not just your teammate, everyone else's.
Rich, do you disagree with that? Do you disagree with that? Or it's an interesting point actually, and it's one that a lot of people haven't really spoken about. That the league isn't as strong as it normally is.
I think there's probably a few mitigating circumstances with that. Obviously, there was a Euros just before the season started this year. Quite a few teams were disrupted with players coming back at different times. And there's I think in past when there's been tournaments, the next season after's maybe been a little bit sort of weaker in terms of quality. And I'm not one for giving players excuses in terms of fatigue, but there might be 1 or 2 mitigating circumstances with that. I do agree with Sava there about just the basics. And how many times on this show have I talked about the basics and footballers not doing the basics anymore? Blocking crosses, putting their bodies on the line, challenges, tackles, just basic football that you're taught as a youngster to kind of do, show your man on their weaker side, bring them into play with where the other players are. Don't leave yourself isolated. Stop crosses at fullback. Like the amount of crosses that fullbacks let in these days is absolutely disgraceful. Honestly, if I was a captain or manager, I'd be smashing people in at half time in the dressing room. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
We know that.
Yeah, you know it. You know what you're like, Rich. You know what you're like. You know it. And then the other thing is, again, with Sava, I agree with. coaches now, head coaches now, are so arrogant that they believe that they don't have to change any tactics for any game, no matter what the opposition. They would rather lose 4 or 5-0 and keep their system than change the system to accommodate the opposition. I've seen it so many times, Vincent Kompany. Yeah. But then when you got coaches like Vincent Kompany stinking the place out with Burnley and getting the job at Bayern Munich, then why not? It's ridiculous.
Rich, can I just come in on your point there? I find it quite funny now when teams are like losing with 10 minutes to go. And back in the day, you'd have 10 minutes to go. You're losing a game. You chuck on your forwards. You're putting the ball into the mixer. Now it's like, all right, we're losing. 10 minutes to go. Still pass. And you're like, stop passing it among the centre halves. It's so pain. Like,
do you remember when centre half used to go up front?
Centre half
centre half goes up front.
I said this when Newcastle United lost to Fulham the other week. I was like, we needed something different. We did the same when we lost against West Ham. We did the same when we were losing against Bournemouth. When you're chasing and you need to do something different. There was a point where Dan Burn, the 6'8" Dan Burn, was the furthest defender back, and we needed something to get us back into the game. Up there, old school.
Do you remember when, was it Stuart Pearce or Kevin Keegan who brought David James on up front for Man City?
Stuart Pearce. That's Stuart
Pearce.
I
mean, that was probably a bit extreme, but seems like he left the striker on the bench. But yeah,
I interviewed him and asked him about that. He was like, "Yeah, let's move on."
How many goals do you see now where everybody wants to play out the back and hardly anybody can play out the back? I know all these managers want to play this style of football, but who was it at the weekend where I don't know if it was your game. It was definitely your game, but there was another game I watched where the goalkeeper rolled it out. The midfielder controlled it, had 2 men breathing down his neck. They nicked in, scored, and you're like, stop playing out from the back. And whether it's Spurs or anyone else,
Villa conceded a goal. Villa conceded a goal like that the other night against Liverpool. The fullback got isolated. Liverpool closed him down, and he doesn't know where to pass it. You think, just play it up the line, play it in the channels. Ollie Watkins runs the channels anyway, better than any other striker in the league. So just do it. And then, but he passes it inside, and then Jota he passes it. Like, what are you doing?
It was a great through ball, Rich. That from
yeah, but yeah, it is frustrating. It is frustrating
the
because
thing I don't get though, Savvy, you must love Forest then, because everything you're asking for is what Nuno's doing. We don't play out from the back. We go long when we're.
There's a difference, Wolfie. I'm not saying you can never play out from the back.
No,
but it's like this. It's this notion that it doesn't matter if there's a striker breathing down on the goalkeeper. He still wants to think that he's a playmaker, do a little Cruyff turn, pass it out. Sometimes you just think, just do the basics. Like Rich said, fullbacks don't stop crosses. Centre-backs now are praised by can they bring the ball out. For me, that's a bonus. If your centre-back's good at bringing the ball out, that's great. First and foremost, stop the ball going into your net.
Mm-hmm.
We've got one, right? Christian Romero. This guy is praised because he's brilliant on the ball. As a passing centre-back, he's brilliant. As a centre-back, as in defending, big question marks, like big question marks. But people go, he could fit into Madrid with his passing. And I'm like, God, to play for Madrid, you used to have to be
good,
like there. And I don't know, maybe I'm getting old.
Is this a bit old farty?
It might be. I don't know. But the thing is,
I do look back. Like when we had Frank on yesterday, I look back at his team with Collymore, Roy, Wone, Stone, Pearce, all those. I'm like, that team kills this team that's currently here. But then when I look at my dad's generation, he's telling me about all those big names and how football isn't how it was in his day. Do you know, is there a little bit? Are we getting a little old, boys?
There's definitely a balance. There's definitely a balance. And like Burnley in the Championship have letting 9 goals all season. So you never know. It might be turning back round. Scott Parker might be leading the revolution to actually defend again. But in answer to your original question, Pete, with regards to the regards to Forest, I think they'll just about make it. It's very much like Villa did last season. I think they've probably got just enough points in the bank, and they'll win just enough games to get them to the points total that's needed for top 5. But they will make it. It is difficult. It is difficult, and you are going to go through some difficult games. But yeah, you could go and beat Arsenal tomorrow night, and be buzzing again. But I think you'll just about do it. Newcastle. It's a tough one. Yeah, I think probably, but then I've said Villa finished 6th, but it's going to be right to the wire, I think. And we've got some games we've got Forest at home, Spurs at home, Newcastle at home, and I think Fulham at home. So they're huge games in this race. But yeah, and exactly what Sava said. In terms of the number of teams that will fancy themselves to finish in the top 5, 6, it's anyone's at the minute.
I do agree with you, Rich, because when I do the maths, Forest need between 15 and 17 points. We still got to play Leicester. We still got to play, Spurs, some relegation teams down there. So I can see us getting those wins. Also, the other thing is, I just don't see anyone beneath us being consistent. It's only Forest and Newcastle that have had a 7-game winning streak in the league. Us two have the longest winning streak in the league. And that tells you a lot. Liverpool haven't done it. Arsenal haven't done it. Man City haven't done it. Forest and Newcastle have done it. And that was a while back now. And this is the business end of the season where the pressure's on. You're going to see those results. Who had Wolves down to beat Bournemouth apart from me? But that was more because I don't like Bournemouth. You know what I'm saying? Bournemouth should have won that match on paper. And I think we're going to see a lot more of those results as the running comes. And it's all about who's going to have the most teams that are on the beach in their running. That's the key thing.
It's going to be an interesting one, and we've got a couple of images that Chris has put into the system that we'll just get up on in a minute. But Andrew, welcome in. Not had a chance to hear your thoughts on this. We're just weighing in on the situation with Savage made an interesting point about the league not being as competitive or as good really is what it has been in previous years, and maybe it has been a little bit more competitive because of that actually. But what are your thoughts on that? Savage mentioned that Liverpool haven't been as good as maybe a City in previous years. The team's not really playing at the level, nobody being consistent. Your team within themselves have been an example of that. We're very up and down performances from Chelsea, and obviously lost at the weekend, having led the game. Where do you stand with that, mate?
I think he's right. I mean, we've lost the last 2 league games, and we're still only 1 point off the top 4. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you're absolutely right. It's the only thing consistent about these teams is the inconsistency. I mean, your mob. I mean, you went on a great one, and then you got pummeled by Bournemouth 4-1 at home. Yeah, without even going down to 10 men or anything like that. We went on a good run and won 2 in 10. You know what I mean? Bournemouth, like Wolfie said, Bournemouth the other day. I know they went down to 10 men, but still lost 1-0 to Wolves. I mean, Fulham won a great one and lost 4-2 at home to Wolves. Do you remember that? Brighton hadn't won before they played us at home, hadn't won for 3 months at home in the Premier League. And defensively, Sava's right. We could see the first time that a Premier League champion conceded nearly 40 goals in a Premier League season. And I can't remember that. Liverpool are on 26 right now, conceded. I think in the league. They could concede nearly 40 goals in a Premier League season. And I can't remember a Premier League champion that's conceded near 6. I mean, look at the top 4 race last year. Villa, Spurs, and ours. I think Villa and Spurs conceded just over 60 goals, and we conceded nearly 60 goals in a top 4 race. In a top 4 race, 60 goals.
And
are you insane? Yeah, are you insane? People go, oh, is it the other teams like going up in quality? Yeah, but I also think it's complacency from the bigger teams as well when it comes to their recruitment and their transfers as well, or not, look at Arsenal, Man City last 2 summers, us, Newcastle, especially you haven't been able to buy. You bought like Lloyd Kelly in the summer and then let him go to Juventus in January. Yeah. I think it's gonna be someone who can it doesn't have to be a long run. It may be someone who only puts like 3 or 4 winning games together to get this top 4, top 5 space. Especially now, with only a fifth place being built for UCL. That might take a lot of pressure off a lot of people, knowing there's 2 places extra to get the Champions League place. But it could be anything. I mean, we could win tonight against Southampton. You guys could lose to Liverpool at the weekend. Tomorrow, you know, Nottingham Forest. I mean, Wolves got if Forest lose the next 2 league games, which they could do against Arsenal and City, they're and the others capitalise, they're right in this top 4 race again. Because if we win tomorrow and they drop points, we go like 1 or 2 points behind them, and we're not playing well. Yeah. And we got Southampton, we got Leicester coming up after that, and they've got, you know what I mean. So, and they've got City at home. It could, but then again, they could take all 6 points. But it's just going to be who could get a 3 or 4 winning game run together, especially, or you know, just not take a lot of defeats. Because it's amazing how we can all beat each other, you know, in this top 4 race, and then we lose to like a Wolves or a Ipswich or something like that the next game. We're just so inconsistent in this Premier League. And Sabbath's right. I mean, I've never seen, literally, I'll put Forest in at the moment, but literally 3rd to 10th, you could throw them up in the air and anyone could finish anywhere between that. Because Brighton have now won back-to-back games. They're in it. Brentford aren't out of it. You know, it's just, honestly, it's just, we're all so inconsistent. I think it's got to do with, like, because I think most of these managers are nearly all the same in terms of their stubbornness and their, like, reliance on certain players and certain formations and unwilling to change. They're almost the same. They're almost a carbon copy of each other. And maybe that shows in the inconsistency of all our teams.
I think you made an interesting point. And just looking at the league, you know, you're looking at Forest lost 7 in 3rd.
Yeah.
Man City in 4th, Newcastle in 5th, lost 8.
Yeah.
When have you ever seen? I think you made a really good point. When have you ever seen those amount of losses? And look, we'll come to the game on Saturday, Rich. Because I know you need to shoot in just a second. You know, you're back in the race now. You got that win. A lot of people haven't really been talking about Aston Villa, but do you now feel that you're back in the race after that win? Were you lucky to get that win? Obviously, the goalkeeper spilled it. You know, do you think you're going to be back in that race? Are you playing well enough? Where do you see yourself with Villa in that race at the moment?
I mean, obviously, after the Ipswich draw, I was kind of quite downbeat because of the games that we had to come, Liverpool and Chelsea. Probably 5 points from those 3 games is like the minimum that I would accept, really. You know, in terms of the way that it's come about as being better than anticipated. You'd have thought like beat Ipswich and then get a draw against Liverpool and potentially draw against Chelsea. And you'd have said, okay, not too bad. This time we did it the other way around. The Liverpool draw was a great game, really good performance, really strong performance. And then the win against Chelsea, really poor first half. Couldn't seem to get going. Like Chelsea's tactics were really good at the start in terms of spreading the pitch, making the pitch as big as they could, pressing us high. But they really kind of ran out of steam, and you know, quite early on in the game, and didn't really have the bench to change it. They only really brought Jadon Sancho on, and he did nothing really. Whereas Villa, this is where I hope that the difference will come with Aston Villa for this run-in, is that you look at the attacking options that we now have. It's absolutely crazy. You know, you bring Marcus Rashford on at half-time, you bring Daniel Marlon on, you bring Leon Bailey on, and then you've also got Marco Asensio, Ollie Watkins, Morgan Rogers and Jacob Ramsey to use in the team as well. It's unbelievable what we've got in terms of attacking options, and that's what I'm hoping that will... As I said to Wolfie, we limped over the line last season utilising about 12 or 13 players. I hope that Unai Emery is clearly kind of learnt from that, and he's saying, you know, in this running, you need to have the players that finish the game are almost more important than the players that start the game, because that's where you can rescue points, as we've said, in terms of late goals. That's where it happens. So for us to have these impact players is huge. So I'm hoping we can get that back. However, every game at the moment, it feels like a must win, because 2 defeats and you kind of feel like you're miles out of it. You're back down in 10th, 11th position. 2 wins and you've kind of Champions League is on and everything's all rosy. So I wouldn't be too confident right now, but I certainly think we've put ourselves in a good spot particularly with the attacking options that we've got.
Do you know my only concern with Villa? Well, no, my biggest concern with Villa is that you guys put everything into your Champions League games. You put everything into them, and your record after you play Champions League games is shocking. There's a lot of defeats in there. I don't think there is. There might be one.
We've won one game out of those 8. Yeah.
But you put everything into those Champions League games, and I know it's against Bruges. I know you lost them in the group stage, but my fear is that record may continue, and you probably won't mind if you progress further in the Champions League, obviously. But that would be my thing, is that you guys seem to obviously raise your levels for the Champions League games, but then you don't have enough in reserve. That's including your starters and your subs or people that come in to actually, capitalize on taking the points. You dropped a lot of points after Champions League games. That's really cost you.
Yeah, it's true.
Six mentality, man.
It is. I tried not to kind of use that as an excuse, but you can't deny the facts that Villa have struggled after those games. Like, we've won 1 out of the 8. What I would say about the next games coming up is it's a bit kind of mixed. We've got Brentford to come after the first leg against Bruges, but then we don't have a game for like 2 weeks because we played Liverpool and it's the Carabao Cup final for that following weekend. So I don't think that will be as much of a worry to get to go forward. And look, I was after the first half against Chelsea, I was thinking, right, all we've really got to go for is to try and get as far as we can in the Champions League and potentially win the FA Cup. That's literally all Villa have got to play for now. It's funny what 45 minutes does, and all of a sudden now we're talking, if we beat Palace tonight, we could be back in the race to the Champions League. Who knows what's going to happen at the minute? You just got to ride with it. But as I said,
right, Rich, this is how crazy it is. You wouldn't be surprised the way our teams are inconsistent at Palace rock up there and win 1-0. Do you know what I mean? It's
absolutely. And all these attacking players that I'm raving about, couldn't hit a barn door. That's how it could be. That's how it could be.
Rich, can I ask you one question?
Oh,
yeah.
And I think Daz has got a question for Andy as well.
Right, it's a quick question. It's a yes/no answer. Are you pissed off about your performance against Liverpool and Chelsea? Because I remember you said it would piss you off if they turned up.
I was a little bit. Yeah. Because it needs to be backed up tonight. I did say if we beat Liverpool, I'd be pissed off. So it was slightly tempered because we drew. But yeah, I mean, it is always one of those frustrating things. Like, why is it that you, particularly this season, Villa have been like a one-off game team this year? Like, we haven't, look at all the points that we've dropped. And every team could probably say this, but Bournemouth last minute, West Ham, Ipswich, both games, we took 2 points off Ipswich this season. And if you want to have any aspirations of finishing in the Champions League, you just can't do that. So yeah, it's
10 men as well. You should have killed them.
No, it's embarrassing, but
even Spurs got 3 points out of them this season.
exactly. But yeah, you kind of you think the last 2 results, 4 points from those 2 games, puts it a little bit more into perspective, and we've done better in those games. So. And look, Marcus Rashford, the jury was out slightly with him. In my opinion, I think he's done great since he's come in. I know it's only 4 games, but he's looking really good. So let's hope he can keep firing. And we have got big game players now. Asensio, Marlon, and Rashford are Champions League experienced players, so they should be able to kind of turn up in the big moments.
I know you might. Register in a minute.
Can they register?
Marlon isn't, because we had to sign Disasi, but the other 3 are, yeah.
Rich, I know you have to go in just a second, but
you did have to sign him.
Just before you do go, prediction for tonight, Palace away.
Well, I've said on my own preview 3-1 Villa, but I'm getting less and less confident as the time goes on. Yeah.
Oh, it's the way.
I just we just don't do well at Selhurst Park. Albeit last season I was there, we would already qualify for the Champions League, so no one really cared about the result last season. But yeah, it's not a happy ground for Villa to go to. But yeah, I'm confident. I think we'll get the win.
Okay,
go get him, Rich. Go get him.
Exactly. You look.
Love it.
Same top as well.
You need to.
No. That's the special
game top,
special Stone Islands for the away games, mate. It makes me 20% harder.
Stop building a collage of those images. You need to start doing it every away game. You need to get that captured. But Daz, I think you got a question for Andy.
Yeah,
Andrew.
Question for Andrew. Just this came into the chat. Big up. It says big up Charlie out to the protest, and I'm just wondering, Andy, what's the protest about? Is it about something about the price he got for the hotel, or what is all about this protest?
I know. There were like eight different things on there. Blue Co out, Clear Lake out. They got Egg Barley out, Bowley out, Egg Barley and Bowley out. Sporting directors out, manager out. Change the model. Why have we got a front of shirt sponsor? Why have we bought this player and not that player? This it's just totally disorganized. Totally disorganized. And then some muppet went on TalkSport last week and just started. I don't know what he was talking about. Absolute nonsense. Just undid a lot of the things. It's not really that organized. I'm fine with a protest. If you want to protest. I'm absolutely fine. It's just, will it continue? Because I thought we were playing this weekend and we're knocked throughout the cup. So we're not playing until 9 days' time against Copenhagen away and then Leicester at home. I don't know if these protests will continue. That's my thing about it. You want to protest, fine, but why is it taking everyone on community goes, oh no, we see what they're really doing. They've been openly doing this for 2 years. What do you mean you've seen what they're doing in the recruitment and everything like that? You just got caught up in a wave of 8 and unbeaten run in the first half of the season like normal fans do. Because you could have done it last summer. That's my thing. It's like, why are you now doing it? Because we're now doing it. My biggest thing is that we're now doing it. These people are only doing it because of the recent form and the transfer window. That's why they're really doing this protest. Because otherwise, the owners haven't changed anything in terms of their recruitment, their model. They haven't changed the sporting directors from 2 years ago. So what suddenly changed now? Because I think if we were on 50 points right now, you wouldn't hear anything about this protest whatsoever.
Yep.
You just wouldn't hear anything.
Because we only care about what happens on the pitch, and when it's not going on the pitch, we'll blame something off the pitch.
Football fans are the easiest people to please if your team's winning. Everything goes away. Everything's covered. Everything, nothing. Oh, do you remember? No, we're winning. We don't want to rock the boat. We don't want to do this. No. Let's keep this good. Let's keep this.
They must be doing something right,
Yeah, exactly. 3 games not winning in a row, or 2 and 10. Oh, now we must see change. Now, and also one of the messages is change the model. Well, if you don't like the people in charge, why would you want them to change them? Why would you trust them with a new model if you don't like the people in charge? Wouldn't they just mess up a new model? I don't know. Are
you sure you're just not feeling left out of the limelight because Spurs had massive 3,000 fans protesting?
But credit to the Spurs fans, there's one clear message. Even the Liverpool fans who aren't protesting this season, obviously because they're winning a lot, but in the past flew planes over that says FSG out. Man United fans who are inconsistent with their protests at least have like Glazers out. Ours is like 8, 9 different messages. There's no one clear message. With Spurs, it's Levy and ENIC out. That's it. That
wasn't a protest, apparently.
Message. Newcastle guys, if they protest, it was Mike Ashley out. It was that, right? Wolfie, if you turn on your owner, it will be just your owner out. No, I know you won't. I'm just saying.
No, we did on Fawaz.
Yeah, if you ever did, it would be that owner out. It's like our form. Our protests are even inconsistent. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense what we're doing. Do you know what I mean?
There's already been protests on Wolfie.
I heard on a stream today. Can't remember the guy. He said, even if we get 100 people out, we're going to try and make it more numbers just by getting pictured with the people going into the ground. So it looks like more people are protesting. That's what I heard today. So the official numbers might go up because more people are arriving for the game, even though they're not taking part in the protest.
Rent a crowd. Yeah.
It's just. Listen, some of them. I can hear the entitled argument. I can understand that. I'm pre-Roman, so I'm not entitled whatsoever. So you know what I mean. I've seen my standards are always for Chelsea between 03 to 12. Those are my standards for Chelsea. Those are higher standards, and I can understand their thing about the recruitment and stuff like that. We all feel like that. It just stinks of we're not in good form. That's the main bit why. Because like 2 months ago, people.
The crazy thing is, Andrew, right? Is
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm not wrong, you've got is it Southampton tonight followed by Leicester?
Yeah.
I mean, at the weekend, obviously lots of twists and turns with different teams, but you could finish the weekend in third.
Right. Yeah.
Like your owners bought the club 2 years ago. I mean, what are they asking the owners to come in and sell them? Are they asking? I know you said there's loads of. Are they asking for new owners? Yeah. Are they now going to do with their owners what they do with their managers? Like every couple of years, you're going to have some new owners. Like it's absolutely. I think it's absolutely crazy. You lot are bonkers, man.
No,
not you. But you know what I mean?
Listen, I can understand it because it's a confusing message. Because 2 months ago, the away fans were singing, "We got our Chelsea back." 2 weeks ago, they're singing, "We want our Chelsea back." I don't know. So hang on, where did your Chelsea go between those 2 months? I don't.
Yeah.
Where did you lose? Where did you lose your Chelsea? I don't. Did you check? Did you check in your colours? Yeah. Did you? It's just honestly, Samuel. It's like I said, if we had 2 in 10, if we won 5 out of 10 in this last one, 7, no one would be saying anything right now. I guarantee you right now, no one would be saying anything. We'd be on 50. We'd be on 50 points or something. Close 40 points beyond Arsenal. No one would be saying nothing right now whatsoever. Absolutely.
But the problem is,
it's
it's watering down protests. This is the problem.
Yeah.
If everyone's going to protest over every little thing, it waters down what a protest against owners actually is. Protests are normally when things have been stagnant for years and years and years, and everything's not been great. But you guys are, I'm not saying you've got everything right, but your owners are still putting the money where their mouth is. Yeah, maybe they need to look at some different personnel who's making those signings. But if I was the owners of Chelsea and I've come in and I've spent in 2 years, like 2.5 years, like 1.2 billion, I don't know, whatever the number is. Yeah. I'd turn around. I'd go sod you then. I'd go sod you. Put it up on the market, sod you. I'm great. I really would. I really, really would.
Barley, last season against Brentford, when we drew 2-2, the away fans were saying F off Egg Barley. Nothing's changed. Didn't change him. He was there in the ground as well. He was at Brentford. He heard it. He hasn't changed his mind.
There's 4 fields, isn't there, where fans fit in when you're losing.
Yeah.
Manager out. Yeah. Players out, ownership out, all of the above.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's very easy to be a football fan, isn't it? It's like you're going to fit in one of those guys, or you get the 5th one, the happy clapper. I'm blind to everything. I love my club.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that's it. That's it. It's like
they're my enemy on YouTube, Wolfie. The happy clappers are my enemy on YouTube. Mate, they don't want any football debate. They want no football conversation.
You're being unreasonable.
I'm still fending them off 1.5 years after Cooper's gone, man. It's like, careful what you wish for, I'm still being told.
But you're right, Wolfie, because when we beat Brentford 2-1 at home, went 2 points behind Liverpool, I knew nothing about the ownership, nothing about being out, nothing about the players rubbish, nothing about this or that, nothing. As soon as a little adversity starts, and we always blame the players for having weak mentality, our fan base has a weak mentality. It just has a weak mentality at the moment. They don't like adversity. I was thinking, Maresca's done a hell of a job to get us up to second. If you doubted him when you doubted him in the summer, because I don't believe that anyone says no Chelsea fan ever saw Maresca being up to second any time during this league. If they said they would, I call them a liar to their face, because no one. I don't believe I didn't. He's my biggest question mark, even with recruitment.
I did. I put you second.
Maresca was always my biggest question mark.
I had Chelsea third. To be fair, I thought with the money that you spent,
I had them 6, so I don't know what you were looking at third, Pete. But I had you 6.
Just the money we spent.
I looked at Chelsea's centre backs, I looked at Chelsea's centre forwards, and I looked at Chelsea's goalkeepers and went, no, good team. They'll get Europe. Yep. I think they'll win the Conference League, but I don't know. All these people who have gone for second and third, I don't know what. I get it. You know, when people
Let's
are
have,
going,
where do you
money-
put Forest?
Because of how much they spent.
Yeah, but Pete, sure, money spent. But listen, I could go on a shopping spree right now and buy and spend. I could spend £1,000 on clothes this weekend, but it doesn't mean I've bought 10 really good garments. I could have bought £1,001 t-shirts. Do you know what I mean? Like, just to give it a really bad
Posh
analogy,
word, man. Garments.
and I think Chelsea have got some really, really good footballers. I think they've got some really, really good footballers. What they've not, yeah,
Wait, were they garments or t-shirts? I'm not quite sure which one.
Well, what they've not got is they've not got the 20+ goal season striker, and they've not got. And I truly believe if you sorted this one position out, and I'm sure you agree with me, Andrew, if you sorted your goalkeeper out, I truly believe you would be second. I think you could be up third. You could be up there. But
I think, Sab, I don't know if you agree with this. I think if you do a team like this, there's 2 positions on the pitch you can't have a project in, and that's goalkeeper and striker. You just can't do it if you want to be successful.
I agree.
Goalkeeper, I'll tell you right now, I don't like our 2 goalkeepers. Our 2 best goalkeepers, and one of them is rubbish in Myers, are out on loan, and that's Petrovic and Kepa, right? They're out on loan, right? I can't trust either of these goalkeepers. And if you're a fledgling young defence, how could you trust any of these goalkeepers? And you talk about passing out from the back as well. I hate passing out from the back so much. I just wish you'd hoof it. But the problem is, I've not got Didier Drogba or Diego Costa up front anymore to hold up the ball. That's my problem. I've got no one. I had to play Pedro Neto at false 9 against Villa. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, the ironic thing is, Pete, we needed a striker. We needed a striker since last summer. And our 2 strikers got injured on the same night at home to West Ham. That was a sickening irony on the last day of the transfer window. Now they're out till April. That was the sickening. That was the big slap in the face for the sporting directors and the owners. Oh, it's okay, though. Because we all get it, don't we? After the transfer window, when our club doesn't do anything, we've got the deals lined up for the summer. It's all good. They're all lined up for the summer. It's good. I know the striker they're going to go for, and it's going to be Liam Delap. I know them. I know what they're going to do. This is what they've done. I've looked at the past windows now. They sign 1 or 2 names that people know to distract people with keys, like cats you do with keys or a light like that. And then you sign unknowns like that. We did it last summer. Sancho and Neto. Ooh. Summer before that, Caicedo and Lavia. The January before that, Felix and Enzo Fernandez, like that. But the rest were just like, and that's what they'll do this summer. Or we'll be linked to Osimhen and Gyökeres for the entire summer and won't do anything. That's what we'll do. Or we'll get reports we'll do it the last 2 days of the window, like we did with Osimhen this summer. Oh, we were so close. So close.
Just the last thing on Chelsea before we come to the next part is that do you expect Chelsea to go out and spend a load of money? Because I've spoken to Charlie before, and he expects Chelsea to go out and spend relatively big and bring a number of big players in. Are you expecting that to be this Chelsea? That used to be the Roman Chelsea. But do you expect, after that billion spent from Todd Bowley, we haven't really seen massive amounts, but do you expect that to happen again?
I really don't know. Like I said just previously, I know I was laughing, but I actually believe that's the thing is now is to buy 1 or 2 known names and the rest unknown. What I do expect is one of the 2 midfielders to be recalled. I think Santos is the favourite to be recalled from Strasbourg and probably sell the other one. Like I said, I think we'll bring in Liam Delap. That'll be the striker, and everyone will love that. I don't know about the goalkeepers. I would love a goalkeeper. I was blessed. I've seen goalkeepers from Ed De Hoy to Courtois, and even Mendy for that year and a bit. These guys have not even reached that Mendy level from a year and a bit. None of these goalkeepers have. Kepa, he's got biscuit wrist. Honestly, he can't save a long shot, save his life. It's good at Bournemouth, but they got a good defence. Petrovic is doing well in France. I don't know how much you can take that, but he's doing well. But the others are unknown. The goalkeeper, ironically, Wolfie's goalkeeper was at Strasbourg last season, and we let him go on a free.
We know about him.
Let him go. Strasbourg let him go.
6 mil. I think.
Was it 6 mil?
Maybe
Sorry.
3.5.
They let him go, right? There's like I don't know why we didn't get Mamashashvili for 35. Liverpool got him for 35. I was on that train, get Mamashashvili. Oh, no,
So
but he can't play out from the back. I don't care. Goalkeepers playing out from the back. Just boot the ball. I really
Oh,
couldn't
you would have
care
had
less.
that with Sells, mate. I've never seen him make a short pass. So.
Honestly, just boot the ball. Honestly, I don't know. I think we're going for Mark Gurhey. I don't mind that. He's very good. Or he's good enough.
Saying that on the Newcastle channel, Andrew. That's common.
Well, but we've got that little bit of the percentage add-on. We can just take off the price and get him with that. Do you know what I mean? Plus he's proper Chelsea. That's the line that will come out. He's proper Chelsea. That will come out like that. But I don't know. So it's a wait and see. I'll take everything with a pinch of salt. I don't believe transfer rooms until I see them hold up the shirt anyway, or that. It used to be the old Sky Sports yellow tag thing now, but it's every other 45 minutes on Twitter. Someone's linked to someone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And try and see if they're a piss take.
Depending on what account it is.
Exactly. Yeah. Or they do the eye emoji and a name next to the eye emojis.
Yeah, yeah, the random account. But let's talk about something we can have an opinion on, and that's the next 5 fixtures for a number of these clubs. And look, Chris, I'll come to you first on here. In your opinion, who has the best fixtures out of this set of teams? Apologies, Sav. Sav, your team's not on there.
Hence why we've covered him up on screen.
I do have a question for you, Sav, about your club. Just after this point. But Chris, who has the better fixtures out of these teams fighting for top 4?
Yeah, so even though Savard isn't on this list, he's going to have a say. He's going to have a say in the next 5 fixtures, that's for sure. But for me, I've already pointed this out to you boys, didn't I? Like, I thought it was quite interesting that you could argue our fixtures are probably the most favourable, and the reason I say that is because we haven't got to play any rivals. Now, obviously, I know I appreciate Liverpool are there, but I don't really class Liverpool as rivals because I think, as we've all said, Liverpool have ran away with the title this year. But I just found it interesting that our 4 fixtures after Liverpool don't involve any of the top 5 rivals. So I found that interesting. I mean, there is some favourable fixtures in there. Obviously, Chelsea's next 2 stand out a mile. Forest's first 2 also stand out a mile for the wrong reasons in terms of they could potentially be difficult. Do you know what? It's an interesting set of fixtures, and I see there's a predominantly Man United focus as well, particularly on the first 3, which is Forest, City, and Newcastle. So they've all got to play Man United at some point, which can't be a bad thing. But no, I quite like our fixtures, and do you know what, Pete? What I wanted to do is just quickly go around the panel and ask the boys, their thoughts, and I was going to give them select clubs. So what I'll do is I'll start with you, Wolfie. So obviously you go for your beloved Forest, mate. How many points do you reckon you're getting from the next 5? I've created a little word sheet here, mate, so we can do a little tally up. But how many are you getting from the next 5, mate?
Well, I do question where you get your data from, Chris, because we're at home against Arsenal.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's a great point.
Are you trying to make us play twice away, man? What happened to the alliance? Come on.
I reckon you should go to the Emirates. I reckon you should.
Here's how I see it going. I think we beat Arsenal, draw with City, beat Ipswich, beat United, and lose to Villa. So what does that make it? 3, 4, 7, 11. Is that right? No.
Points.
Is that 10 or 11?
Say it again.
10 points.
10.
Yeah, win, draw, win, loss.
Win, draw.
I'm so tired I can't count that up. Is it 10?
Win, draw, women. Yeah. 10 points, mate. 10 points. Savet, what we're gonna give you a couple here, mate. What do you reckon on City? How many points would you be giving City there?
Oh, God, you just never know which City's going to turn up these days. What have they got? Tottenham away, Villa, Forest, Brighton, Leicester. I think they'll get 9 points. I think they'll win 3 and lose 2.
Savage, you expect yourselves to do the 2 they're going to lose?
I know what you're trying to get at, Pete. I know what you're trying to go with that. Let's have a look. Okay, let's have a look. I think they'll beat Brighton. I think they'll beat Leicester. I think they'll get a draw at our place tomorrow night. Actually, I think they'll draw with Forest, and then Actually, I don't think they're going to lose any. Yeah, I don't think they'll lose any of them. I think they are going to take 1, 2, 5, 8. I think they're going to take 11 points.
11
They
points.
don't
I
travel well
agree
to
with
North
that.
London, though, mate. They don't
Yeah,
travel
no,
well to North London.
they don't. I'm just the way we're so wide open, and if they play like they played against Liverpool, I expect them to beat. It all depends, right? If they play like they did the other day against Liverpool, I don't actually think they were bad. I thought they were the better football team on the day, but Liverpool executed the sit back and counter attack perfectly. But I don't think they're playing bad City. Yes, the Real Madrid game was awful, but other than that, they're not in the worst form in the Premier League. And they'll want to make sure that they get that top 4. I don't think they'll want to rely on 5th. I think they'll want to get that top 4. I think they'll get a draw at Oz tomorrow. I think they'll draw at Forest. And then I think they'll win the other 2. And I think they'll beat Man United.
Yeah, so I'll put them down for 11. Dazzler piece, obviously, for the tune. What are you saying?
Go on, Daz. Go on.
Okay, I'll jump in here. I'm saying we're getting 12 points. I'm not ruling out getting anything from the Liverpool game, but it's going to be difficult, to put it lightly. But yeah, I think then if our heads are in the game for the one against West Ham, because it's right before the League Cup final that something it's played on the Monday, and then we play is it the Sunday on the 16th. So we need to be heads in the game. Then I think we can take Brentford at home, Leicester, and Man United. We're definitely beating Man United because we're at that game. So every time we go to a game, we win. So it's a banker.
It's true.
How many points are you saying, Daz?
12.
You agree with 12, Pete?
I would love to say yes, but I'm gonna say 10.
Where does the final fall, Pete? Where does the final fall? In between where?
West Ham, Brentford.
Yeah, in between West Ham and Brentford. So we play West Ham on the Monday, and then the following Sunday is the cup final.
I'd worry about that West Ham game.
Yeah, I'd worry about the West Ham.
And that's exactly why, boys. That's exactly why I've gone for a draw in that West Ham game. I've gone
only
draw
because
West Ham.
It's 6 days before the final. No one wants to get injured before a final. You know what I mean? Sorry to say this. It's like I know people they won't come out and admit it, and even fans won't come and admit it, but some of those players want to, they want to play at Wembley, want to win, don't they? So
you almost wanted it, Andrew, like to be a Friday night game.
Yes, till the next Sunday. Yeah.
You always want it to be there, so you've got like over a week to be able.
Or even
to
a Saturday, or something, just a normal Saturday game or something like that. So you've got like 8 days,
or
8 days to
recover. Or 12:30, one of them ones. But I do feel confident that we can beat Brentford at home, Leicester away. We better beat Leicester away, and of course, as Daz said, we're at the game for. Against Man United, so yeah, I do expect to win it. The way Man United are playing, I do fully expect us to win that game.
Yeah,
we're more than capable of doing it. So yeah, 10 points for me. Would love 12, but yeah, I'm gonna go for 10.
Should we stick with 10, or do you want to go 11 and meet in the middle?
I think 10's reasonable.
You would, Wolfie. You would.
No.
If you're predicting 11. If you're going 11, you're saying you won't lose a single one of them, right? Just to be clear.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Liverpool away, West Ham away.
Yeah.
What do you think? Are we going 12? Are we going 12 or 10? I'll leave it with you.
Go on, Daz.
Dozen. Go for the dozen.
Good to 12. He knows how this is going.
Throw in a draw at Liverpool as well. Why not? 13.
What's going on?
No, 12. We're sick of 12.
We're going with 13.
Looking for some.
Wolfie,
your
favorite
team, lads.
Yeah, you're doing Bournemouth, yeah, definitely.
All right. LLLWL.
Jock, he hates Bournemouth. He hates them.
Maybe they draw Ipswich. Between 1 and 3.
You know, lads, you know what?
Serious?
No, I'm serious. I don't think they beat Brighton tonight, whenever it is.
Okay.
Salah's going to do us a favour.
Just to throw in there, Wolfie, it's not out the realms of possibility. Zabani is suspended for the next 3 with his red card. He's massive in their centre-back. So that's a big hole in their centre-back pairing there. So it's not out the realms of possibility that they, both being away. I mean, Sava, you come in on that Bournemouth travelling to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, but it's not out the realms of possibility that they could lose both of those next 2.
I'm assuming Chris has got these home and aways right on this one, yeah?
I mean, it's not my poster. I know it.
He's got it wrong. Richard Masters, Wolfie. Richard Masters.
Oh, he's out to screw us, isn't he? Non-big 60s. I'm not even trolling. I honestly think they lose to Brighton. I think Brighton have turned the corner after we woke them up. And I think, I don't know, the Spurs one maybe. Brentford, I mean, neither of those 2 teams belong in the Premier League. Ipswich, they should win. And West Ham, you don't know, Potter, do you?
I think they could get 7. I think they could get 7. The last 3, they could win the Brentford, Ipswich at home, and then draw away at West Ham. I think.
You know what's crazy, Andrew? Me and Pete were looking at these fixtures the other week, and we were both saying how easy Bournemouth's fixtures are, and now suddenly they didn't look that easy. It's crazy. Yeah,
I can understand it because they've lost the Wolves, and then you're taking. I think they're better. I know everyone's on about the youngster 19, but I think Zabanyi's the better defender out of the 2. At Bournemouth, you're taking him out, so I think you're right. I think Brighton have picked up. It's tough away. Spurs tough away for them. I think they'll lose those 2. Brentford, I know they smashed Leicester 4-0, but Brentford don't really travel well. Ipswich they'll try, they're plucky, but I think they'll just about beat them. And I think they'll get a draw at West Ham. I think they'll get 7 points. I think. But they'll lose But then again, if they lose those first two, that losing thing could take it in. So it's tough to call this one actually for Bournemouth. Because if they lose those first 2, then their attitudes might slump. You know what I mean? So.
Stephen Harker in the chat has gone 13 for Bournemouth. He's gone for it.
13?
13.
Someone's gone 4 points for Forest.
The interesting thing with that is I kind of agree with Wolfie about tonight. I do think I've just looked at the Brighton and Bournemouth teams for tonight, and I do think that Brighton are capable. But again, Brighton for me are the epitome of the Premier League. Sometimes I watch Brighton and I go, God, you should be top 4. And other times I watch them and go, oh, you're shit. You know what I mean? Like there's no happy medium. Going to Spurs, I'd love to say my team, I'd love to be confident at home, but this year at home, we failed to beat Ipswich. We failed to beat Leicester. We failed to beat Wolves. We failed to beat Fulham. You know, we failed to beat a lot of teams at home. So
that's true.
Yeah, but Sava, will you have these things that we've heard moaned about all season? Will those players be back for that game?
I don't really subscribe to the players we've got out.
I know you don't, but then he hasn't got that excuse, has he? So will they be back?
So the three that are missing now are Van der Ven, Romero, and Solanke. Romero will probably be back because Argentina have got a game coming up. So I hate saying it. That's when whenever he becomes fit is when Argentina have got a game.
Darren Anderton, isn't it?
Van der Ven, God knows, they're probably restructuring his hamstring, buying it from Turkey or something. And Solanke, I'm not sold on him anyway. So I don't know. But with Spurs, throw a coin in the air. You never know. You never know what you're going to get. We're so inconsistent. So, but Bournemouth have done well, right? Whatever happens this season, they've had a bloody good year with that squad.
Yeah. Wait, Sava, why don't you think they're going to drop like a turd the way you think Forest are?
Because I don't hear their fans going into every chat like you do talking about title challenges.
That's because they have no fans, Sava. They have no fans, mate.
Yeah, but listen, I don't think anyone. Listen, if you had said to a Bournemouth fan at the beginning of the season, you're going to get Europe, they would have bitten your hand off, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you look, expectations are allowed to change throughout a season, yeah.
But what should their expectations be this year other than qualifying for Conference League? What should their expectations be?
League.
Oh, come on.
Why not?
They've got a 12,000 seater stadium. They sell their best players every year. Look at their squad. They are punching above their weight.
Oh,
because
I'm not
their
going to argue
coach-
with you on Bournemouth, bro, because I hate their guts. Yeah, but I'm saying if you were one of the 2 Bournemouth fans that existed, let them dream. Why are you always trying to crush dreams, man? Even
No,
team
no,
I
no.
hate,
See,
let them
Wolfie,
dream.
Wolfie, see, here's the difference between me and you, right? Here's the difference between me and you. I'm all for people dreaming, but I'm also not a 12-year-old girl dreaming of getting a horse when I live in a fucking council flat. Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes just apply some logic, Wolfie, right? Like Bournemouth have had a really good season. If any of their fans came on my show, I'd be the first one to say, can I please have your manager? I think he's absolutely brilliant. But if any of them came on my show and started talking like you did about we're in a title race, I'd be the first one slapping them back down into their box. So that's what I've been doing with you all season. We both agreed the other day I've been 100% right. And now here we are.
No, we didn't.
Just
No, we didn't. No, we didn't.
No, everyone else
Who's
in the
gonna-
group agreed that I'd be 100%
Hold on, who's
right.
going to win the Champions League against ever?
Oh, what? So I predicted Man City. It's not outrageous to predict one of the best teams
No,
in
but
Europe.
you just claimed you've been 100% right. I'm just,
about Forest. About Forest and their title
No,
race.
because your claim on Forest was they won't even finish in the top 6.
Yeah.
Okay, so have you been 100% right on that? It hasn't happened yet.
Hang on. We're not, Wolfie, you're doing what you love to do, right? I never claimed I was 100% right about that. I've been 100% right that you were never in a title race. I've been 5 million% right, right? You
haven't.
Yeah, you've never been in a title race. You've not been in it. Stop pretending.
How can you say that? You can say Forest were never going to win the league. You can't say they were never in a title race.
I can, because you've been nowhere close to it.
In your
Wolfie.
opinion, Forest were never in a title race. Doesn't mean your opinion is right.
From league position points, you were never there.
Okay, mate. Okay.
Sorry, when were you there? Tell me the moment. Tell me the moment in this season where you went, we're in a title race.
After the first game.
Oh, shut up.
Give over.
And you know what, guys? That's what happens when you've won the argument. You get a comment like that. Thanks, Wolfie. We'll do it again.
You asked me when I thought we were first in a title race. Like, how's that an argument? It was a question on my opinion.
So what was your first game of the season?
We actually drew Bournemouth.
I was going to say you drew. You didn't even win.
We're in a title race.
Yeah, because we always lose to Bournemouth, bro, and we didn't lose.
Right, Chris, move on to Chelsea.
Yeah. So what did we finish on Bournemouth? Was it 3 points? Was it 7? What was the most logical one? Is 7 probably
1?
You're downplaying them a bit here.
I think 7 was the common theme.
I think 7. Seven's reasonable, isn't it?
I think
watch them go and beat Brighton tonight. Now we've all cussed down.
Yeah.
All of us. What about you?
Only you.
You said they'd lose.
Yeah,
Right.
I did.
I can see them looting, but they're a bloody good team. They're a very good team.
Yeah.
They're a horrible
Unlike
club. Horrible club.
Andrew, I'm coming to you, mate, for Chelsea.
Yeah, just on a side note, part of me wants to see Bournemouth in the Champions League, only for them to draw Real Madrid and then have Vinicius Jr. score and then run into that corner crowd where the away fans of Real Madrid are. Just see them on the, you just see them where there's no like security there or anything like that, and they just spill onto the pitch. I just want to see that. I don't care what form we're in. We should beat Southampton and Leicester.
Yeah.
Probably lose to Arsenal. Spurs. I don't know what any form we're in. We just end up beating Spurs at home most games anyway. I think it's 1 loss in 35 years in all comps at Stamford Bridge. So it's like we should beat them, but and then Brentford, possible draw, because we always seem to draw against Brentford away no matter what. So I'm looking at probably 10 points there. Arsenal's the one we'll probably lose, definitely. So our record there stinks recently. So 10 points, but it's not a confident 10 points for me. Do you know what I mean? So
the problem, Andrew, you've got is this is your easy part of your running.
yes, yep.
Because the end of your running is pretty spicy.
It is. I'm just hoping Liverpool are on the beach. Newcastle won the League Cup and are on the beach. You know what I mean? Like that. You know?
Never.
Are you sure about that? We've seen plenty of teams win the League Cup and then suddenly forget the league season.
Birmingham City.
Yeah, well, yeah, did they get relegated that season?
Yeah,
they got relegated.
Oh, they did. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
Anthony Martins,
yeah. So we've seen that. So it's not a confident 10, maybe not. I don't know. It's one of those. I can't really. That's what I mean. This team's so inconsistent. I can't rely on
Andrew,
it.
if you lose to Southampton, should he be left? Should he go?
Should he watch? Should he go?
There and then, if you lose to Southampton.
Yeah, if he goes, I've got no loyalty to this guy whatsoever until he does something. Do you know what I mean? If he goes, I've got no like, you know, I've got sympathy to lose his job, but anyone loses a job, I have sympathy for them. But if you can't beat Southampton, I mean, we talk about Brighton being inconsistent, and Brighton smashed them like, what was it, 4-5-1 at the weekend? Something like
lads, I know we're looking at these 5 fixtures just to segue just for a second. Your last 4 games, Liverpool, Newcastle away, Man United, and then last game of the season away at Forest. Oh, you're fighter.
I'm hoping Wolfie and I could do a deal like those last group games in the World Cup, where you know the 2 teams only need to draw to get
Pass it in the middle of the centre circle.
Yeah, I'm hoping that we could do like a draw that suits us both. So we don't have to.
Honestly,
you know,
as Chris, we could be, if those 2 teams have got things to play for and we're up against them, we could be rubbing our hands together come last.
No, Pete, you are right. if Forest and Chelsea are in a position where it suits both, for a draw, there won't be any fighting.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, I'm saying the opposite. I'm saying if you're in a position where you need to get something in order to achieve that, we could be rubbing our hands together from that.
Are you just worried about that Carabao Cup, right?
Yeah, you're going to be drunk in that Carabao Cup.
Anyway, carry on. Sorry.
It's irrelevant anyway, lads, because I think isn't this one predicts exactly what's going to happen?
Yeah,
we'll take that. We'll take that, boys.
Yeah. Wait, what does this mean?
No idea.
So this is the well, based on the stats and looking at the games that have been on previously, this is what the league is predicting this is how it's gonna end up. So top 5, Newcastle have got a 62.9% chance, Forest have got a 51.9% chance, and Chelsea have a 48.2% chance. And interestingly, they're saying that Bournemouth, Villa, Brighton, and Fulham, obviously their chances have whittled down.
Why have they got arrows? They couldn't fit it in because it's so small. Okay. I thought it was Amazon for a second. You know, the Amazon.
Where's Spurs?
I think they're further down the image, Slava. They're in
the prediction on the relegation bit. And
there's a chance.
Unfortunately, the arrow's going through your badge. That's what's happening on the other screen right there. It's going through it.
I did want to ask you though. You know, looking at the Premier League table, you're in 12th. You're on 33 points. Look, in terms of top 5, top 4 race, probably not in that discussion. In fact, definitely not in that discussion. But if European football is 8th, are you out of that completely? 9 points today with a game in hand on Villa.
I don't trust this manager to do anything. So I don't think we'll get it. I don't think we'll get 7th or 8th. So if we look at 8th place at the moment in the Premier League, if it goes down to 8th, we're Aston Villa. We're 9 points behind Villa, right? And if Aston Villa win tonight, it could be that we're 12 points behind them with 12 games to go. So we'd have to make up a point for every single week of the rest of the season on Aston Villa. Look, we've got a lot of tough games, Pete, coming up. We've still got to play Chelsea away. We've got to play Man City. We've got to play Liverpool away. We've got West Ham away. We've got Wolves away. We've got Nottingham Forest to play as well. We've got Bournemouth. We've got Fulham. I just think there's too much to do, Pete, if I'm honest. If we get 7th or 8th, our fans are going to act like we've had the greatest season of all time. I'll be honest, mate. I'm embarrassed, Pete, that we are 12th in the Premier League table after 26 games. It's utterly disgusting. So it's not it's not impossible, but it's a huge mountain to climb, and it's going to take a massive winning run plus 4 or 5 teams suddenly collapsing and not winning games. I can't see it, if I'm honest. But
yeah,
I guess it's the
I'm confused. I'm so confused. So technically, Spurs could be in a race for Europe.
I don't think we're in a race. I don't think we're in a race for Europe. No. See, this is where you're going to try to play on words on you lot winning a league title. As I've just said,
I just wanted to clarify the position because you said it's not impossible.
It's not impossible for us to get Europe in the league, but it's improbable if we're going to be brutally honest.
But not impossible.
It all depends. What do Fulham do now? Look at the table. If you look at the teams above us, right? If you look at Brighton, 7 points clear of us, right? Fulham 6. So whatever happens between now and the end of the season, we need to do 2 wins better than Fulham, right? Brighton, we need to do 3 wins better than them. Aston Villa, nearly 3-4 wins better than them. It's so unlikely that we go on a run. We're going to need to win, of our last 12, we're going to need to win about 9 of them. And I can't see it. We're not good enough. We're wide open. I can't see it.
You see, I think you're going too high in the table. I think 9th will potentially get Europe.
Will it?
Yeah.
I would know.
Because there's a scenario
if
where
it does, hasn't football
Europe.
got really stupid? How can you have half a table going to Europe?
Well, the Italians had 9 last year or 10 from Serie A.
Well, no, yeah, supposed to 5 Champions League places. Yeah,
maybe. Look, beat Man City tomorrow, and it's 4 on the spin. Who knows? Beat Man City, who knows? But I've said the 3 games we've just won, I would expect to win. Right? Brentford, Ipswich, and Man United, I'd expect to win. Now we've got 4 against teams in the top 9. We've got Man City, Bournemouth, Chelsea, Fulham. Right? Win 3 out of those 4. We're having a different conversation in a couple of weeks, Pete. That's the difference for me. We'll see after tomorrow night. But Spurs fans saying we're back after 3 wins. Back from what to where to who? Back
the race
at what?
to Europe, mate.
Like what? The race to Europe. Do you know? Can I just say one thing quickly before we move on? Sorry, I don't want to take too much of your airtime. Right? What makes me laugh is fans spend all year wanting European football. Right, don't they? All year going, how many wins do we need for Europe? They get into European football, and then that's their ready-made excuse the following season as to why they drop points in the league. Oh, but we play twice a week. Well, don't want Europe then. Like, don't cry for Europe, and then when you're in Europe, say, oh, but we're tired and the play. Nah, I don't feel sorry for you. You've got into Europe. You've got European money. Go and buy some players. Get a bigger squad. Go for it.
Frank Clark said to us yesterday he used the same squad on the Saturday that he did on the Wednesday. And they got on with it.
You look at it, Liverpool in the Champions League. They've just They won the Champions League group and they're top of the Premier League. How many players did Liverpool rotate in Champions League games? I'm guessing all the big guns played every game. You know, it's like
pretty much.
It's too many excuses from football fans for me. Too many people that are so biased. They don't want to just say, yeah, we've played badly. Like, oh, but we're in Europe. Oh, are we? We're playing like Karabag and Ferencvaros. Like what are we doing?
Karabag are former Champions League teams. You show them respect, Saba. They're former Champions That was Saba Costa's first ever goal for Chelsea against Karabag. I will not have that diminished in any other way.
Boys, just before we move on, I'm just going to quickly say, so after 5 games, we all predictors, we're now saying Forest are going to be 3rd on 57, Newcastle are going to be 4th on 56, City are going to be 5th with 55 points, Chelsea are going to be 6th with 53, and Bournemouth are going to be 7th with 50. So we're predicting that Bournemouth are going to fall away. But interesting tonight, because if they go and beat Brighton tonight, that'll put that to bed.
Rip it up. We'll do it again next week.
Yeah.
There you go.
I think we should just agree. If they win tonight, we should just agree that it's all Wolfie's fault. That's what it is.
Start. Then you can have the 2 Brighton and Bournemouth fans even after me. So, yeah. I was just going to say, don't discard Arsenal out of that list, Chris, because if we beat them tomorrow, we've dragged them back into this.
If you beat them tomorrow, you back in the title race.
It depends if you beat Liverpool. You're going to beat Liverpool.
I hope so, mate.
Okay.
I hope so.
So let's raise you then. If we beat Liverpool, then you beat Arsenal. Are you back in the title race?
We have more of a chance of it than we currently do now.
That is true.
Should I do an Arteta over my dead body? Or whatever he said today.
Right, boys. Let's do some predictions before we wrap up. So, Chelsea play tonight against Southampton. What are you going for, Andrew?
I'll go 3-0.
3-0. Okay.
I'm going 1-0. It would be hilarious.
Oh my god!
I need Southampton to get 2 more points, boys. They can't beat Derby's record. No, they need 3 to go.
Yeah.
No, they're on 9, right? So Derby's to beat Derby's record. Yeah, Derby had 11, didn't they? So yeah.
They could sort it out tonight. Come on, Saints.
Sava, comfortable Chelsea win for you?
I think Chelsea will get 5 or 6 tonight. I think they'll stop the rot and back. Southampton this is an awful football team.
They are, yeah. They are terrible, to be fair.
Like this is true. We put 5 past them. Yeah, I think Chelsea will get 5 or 6. I do. Cole Palmer hat-trick.
Oh, good prediction there. Daz, easy win for Chelsea.
Chelsea win, yeah. Doesn't matter.
Same for you, Chris.
Same, mate. Same.
Okay. Right, Sava, big game. Man City, Wednesday at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. What are you going for, mate?
I don't know. I've been thinking 2 or 3-2. I think it's going to be a real high-scoring game. 2 very wide-open football teams. I think it's going to be 2 or 3-3 or a massive City win. I feel like we're. I feel like this great winning run we're on has been against really crap teams. We'll see. Draw. 3-3.
3-3. I need to watch that game.
Hang on, that's not fact, Pete. I mean, it could be 0-0, but
he's already put it on his freaking accumulator, man. I'm saying 3-1 Spurs.
Okay.
Hopium.
Yeah, hopium. Andrew, what are you going for?
I know City won their last season, but I don't know. No Haaland. Is that right? No Haaland?
I don't think he'll be back, mate. I don't think he'll be back.
I'll go 2-1 Spurs. Because of the record.
That's sick in you to say it, Andrew.
I'm literally. I'm turning my camera off. I don't even. Can you just ask me that again?
What we go for?
2-1 Spurs. 2-1 Spurs.
AI voice.
Yeah. Dance, what you going for?
Sorry, Sarah. I'm going City win. This one. Even though you never can tell with Spurs, especially against the bigger clubs. But yeah, I love the Spurs win because it'd do us a favour.
Chris, you with Daz on the City win, or are you going Spurs?
No, I'm going Spurs, mate. I think I put a bet on before. I think it'd be 2-0 Spurs, and I don't think Haaland's going to play. And I remember when we did our reaction show, our away days with the City lads, they were all unanimous saying we won't beat Spurs. So that gave me even more confidence. They're convinced that Spurs are going to turn them over. And it would just be Spurs to just go and wipe the floor with City. So, yeah, I'm going to say 2-0 Spurs.
Okay. And lastly, we are going for the game at Anfield. Boys, I'm going to start with you first. Daz, Chris, I'm going to start with you boys first on the predictions there. What are we going for? Could we do the impossible? Could we do what only Wolfies Forest have done this season, is go there and win? What are you thinking, Daz?
I'd like to think we could manage a draw, but I just can't see it somehow. So I know I'm going to start with a negative for me. I think we're going to get a narrow defeat.
Okay, narrow defeat for you, Chris.
I'm dying to say 2-2. But I'm going to say 2-1 Liverpool.
Okay. 2-1. Wolfie, what are you going for?
I think 2-0 Liverpool, boys. Sorry, but it's a tough place.
It is. And look, Andrew, I'll come to you because of the reason for that, Sava. What do you think the score's going to be at Anfield?
Your records there not very good. They're just efficient and machine-like. They're still very good, but I think they will run out 3-1 winners, I think, tomorrow.
Okay, 3-1 winners. And Sava, considering you did a video on our manager, Eddie Howe, the other day, and if you haven't seen that link, give that link a click. We'll put it on socials as well so you can see that. Are you going to give us some positivity? Newcastle win potentially, or a point?
I think you might sneak a win there. I don't think they're playing that. I genuinely don't think they've been that great. I thought they were brilliant defensively against City. I thought they put on a masterclass on how to defend, but it's easy to defend loads of crosses when there's no centre forward. I don't know. I just feel like you might be really. I'm seeing that it might be like Joe Linton back and Tonali in midfield, and if you've got those two with Guimaraes, it's powerful. I think you might make it interesting, and I think you could nick it there. Maybe a draw. I don't think they're as great as everyone says they are. I just don't think enough teams are clinical enough. But yeah, I'm going to go with a 2-1 Newcastle.
I think it was interesting comments from Eddie Howe today about Joe Linton and Sven Botman. I've just got a sneaky feeling that one or both could be sitting in that squad, walking off that coach tomorrow night, which would excite a lot of Newcastle United fans, that's for sure. And I think whoever steps off the coach, one or both, could potentially start that game. That gives us a different mindset. I'm going to go draw. I'm gonna say 1-1 for this one. I'm going to stay relatively positive. I think we need to take something from Anfield. It's been far too long. So I think that'll be a nice way to set up the final with the draw.
Yeah.
But boys, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Beat Arsenal.
Really?
Forest to beat Arsenal as well.
Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot about that.
I was about to question this alliance.
I'm sorry. I'm here wrapping up the show. People, hold on. We've got another big game. I'm so wrapped up in Anfield that I forgot about the game. Forest against Arsenal. Wolfie, let's start with you, fella.
3-1 or 3-0 to Forest. Their heads, Arsenal's heads are gone. Maybe mine's gone. I don't know.
Forest win. Sava, Forest win.
Forest against Arsenal. Arsenal just don't have firepower, do they? At the moment, they don't have any firepower. I'm gonna go with a 2-2. I'm gonna go over 2-2.
2-2. Okay, Andrew.
I'm gonna go 2-1 Forest.
2-1 Forest.
Good man.
Chris, Forest win. Arsenal win.
Wolfie's gonna love this. I'm going 3-0 Forest. I think we smashed them.
Oof.
We are. Daz, are you as confident as Chris?
Even though I think it would be better for us if Arsenal got the win, because it would just kind of peg Forest back about that bit more. But no, I think Forest are going to win. 2-0 Forest.
As much as you're right, Daz, I think it would help us in terms of that race for top 4, top 5. If Forest didn't win, I can't see anything other than a Forest win. I just can't. I think
man, we better win now, man.
In my mind, I had 3-1. I had 3-1 Forest for that game, so I'll stick with that. I genuinely think you've got that win. I just can't see where Arsenal are going to score. I just don't see it.
Can I just jump in there? And the only reason I'm saying this is because, well, you boys know I love a bet anyway. But I find it staggering that when you look at the odds on the matches tonight and the odds on the matches tomorrow, Nottingham Forest are nearly 3-1 to win at home to Arsenal. Arsenal are odds on to win, and I just don't see it. I just don't see. And it was interesting. I want to hear what all your boys thought. I had a feeling I knew what Wolfie was going to say, but I was interested to hear what all you boys thought. And I think collectively we've all said it's looking like a Forest win.
I wasn't Muslim, man. I'd be paying 20 quid on that. Yeah,
mate, it's mad. It's mad.
Chris is going all in.
The only thing is, it's. I often think that some of these bookies are Arsenal fans anyway, so they're deluded anyway. And sometimes when they do the old odds, but the only thing is, Arsenal, and Wolfie understand is they're a jammy team. Do you know what I mean? Their last couple of years, they're a jammy team, and something seems to be going against them. They'll have the opposite of like they did at the weekend when everything was supposed to be going for them. They were supposed to beat West Ham, get it down to 5 points and stuff like that. I just think Forest need to not be as defensively disastrous as they were in the first half against Newcastle. If they actually do that form in the second half, they'll cause them some damage. Because even if they put Marino up front, I think Forest have got enough defensively to handle the aerial battle really well. It's just about
on that subject. How bizarre is it? How bizarre! It's blown my mind. How Marino is suddenly the answer. Like that,
and they're hyping him up like he's the Isak, that they wanted, man.
He scored 2 against Leicester, and
I could score a hat trick against Leicester. Yeah, they should be kicking off that he didn't score 3.
I think it's mad. I think it's mad, mate. I do. It's crazy.
Madness. Absolute madness. But boys, it's been an absolute pleasure to talk all things football. Massive thanks to Wolfie on Forest Fans TV. Make sure you give him a follow. Big thanks to Saba, first time on the channel. Hopefully not the last. Go and make sure you subscribe to the Football Heritage TV and make sure you check out his video on Eddie Howe if you're a Newcastle fan. Big thanks to Andrew, the Winter Surfer. Make sure you go and give him a follow on social media as well. He'll be watching the Chelsea game tonight. And of course, subscribe to Loaded Mag, NUFC. Top Table Talk will be back with more discussions, possibly maybe later on this week. Not definitely next week. But whilst you're here, make sure you click that like on the way out. We've had over 200 in the chat live tonight. Make sure you go and click that like and help the channel. And thank you for watching. Right. We're all going to go watch some football tonight, as I'm sure you are as well. So let's take it away.
Bang, bang. Good night, everyone.